Okay, part B of the story about the creator and one who's known as Christos Sophia or Pistis Sophia. And I'm looking for a copy of her writings, the literal oldest version of these teachings and writings of one known as Pistis Sophia, the Magdalena transcripts, the ones that is in the Vatican. We want all of the divine feminine teachings that were buried, burned, and we want them. Okay? I'm not trying to be rude, but when I get through with telling my tale, then I'm going to let everybody in on here, because as I said, even though time does not exist, friends, it is of the essence right now. Okay? I have fucked around, to be quite honest, for way too long, and I do not wish for any of us to have to fucking find out. So please try to take this as serious as you can. I'm dead ass. And if you're from anywhere like I'm from, you know that being dead ass is like, please pay attention. So she creates Yaldabaoth. And in turn, he inherits all of her gifts. So he creates basically everything, okay? This little motherfucker does. But mostly he creates these beings called archons. I believe that's what they're called. This is an old story. This is not a new story. But this is a ancient tale. This is older than almost every book you could see or read or whatever. These things about this woman and what she did, her fall that she had from the pleroma into what was called this world called chaos. And I have this, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have this tattoo on my throat right here. It goes all the way across my neck and it says chaos. It's literally my drunken handwriting, that I was at this bar getting drunk at like 6 months pregnant, getting drunk as fuck at noon, okay? 6 months pregnant, and I wrote that on a bar napkin, and I walked next door to where, right next to the bar, and I had them tattoo that right there on my neck. It's crazy. Fucking 6 months pregnant, and I was 6 months pregnant with my 5th child. And I don't know how, but by the grace of God, he did not have fetal alcohol syndrome, because I drank my ass off when I was pregnant for him. I had reached what was called a point of no return. In 1999, I buried my stillborn son, and it was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life. I was 28 years old, and at that time, it was the worst thing that ever happened to me, and I had already been drinking for 14 years at that time, daily for 14 years. And so my point of no return came in 1999 when I buried my son. And so for 15 years, I gave myself even more hell than I already had, you know. Up until then, I never did any drugs. I smoked weed and popped a few Xanaxes, you know. Maybe took acid a couple times, but I did not do any drugs until I was 28 and a half, 29 years old. Not even one line of cocaine. I hated the shit. My mother was a junkie. You know, my daughter ended up turning into an alcoholic like me, and, you know, she also got sober. She's been sober longer than me, but another reason that, well, I don't want to get off track. Just a little about me. Sophia created the audio bow. He created the archons, and they created this trap that everybody's been in, okay? He created this illusion to enslave humanity because he was jealous of them. He stole Sophia's light somehow. I don't know how. I'm not that deep into it. He ends up stealing her light and using it as, I don't know what all he did with it, but he sure pulled the wool over on the humans. I'll tell you that. Let's just say that he pulled the wool on the humans. And so basically, when we are leaving our bodies, you know, we're vulnerable. Okay? We're in a very vulnerable state when we are dying. Okay, I'll say dying. When we're unalived, however we leave here, okay? And so say you're, you know, just passed on, real confused, real vulnerable. And every NDE you hear of throughout time speaks about this warm, wonderful light that just, oh my God, and there's your whole family, and they're there to greet you, and it's so beautiful and so wonderful. And then if you believe in angels, and you believe in, you know, the guy from the Bible, and you've been down on your hands and knees praying to Jesus your whole life, doing the Lord's work, and, you know, waiting on your Savior, paying the Catholic Church $300-400 a month to molest your fucking kids. That was probably inappropriate, but I really, have a lot to say. And I apologize beforehand, because you might be triggered after watching these videos because of the shit that I'm going to tell you. And I so would appreciate that if you are watching this, to pass it on, because it is imperative that this message reaches the millions of people that I'm responsible for. 3 years ago, I was told I wasn't here for hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands, but millions, and only I could make this happen. And don't you think it's driven me half crazy trying to figure out why the fuck, of all the people that's here, that it would be up to me to get this message to millions of people, and I can't even get nobody to listen to me for 5 minutes because I've been a hooker and a junkie my whole life. But I'm telling you now, that if you came across this video, then we made this agreement a long time ago, baby. Listen to me for a second. Just for a second. I'll be right back.